Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of the Monday Huddle. How are you doing out there today? I hope that your day has gone well, and put in the chat in the comment section where you're tuning in from. And again, welcome. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. And if this is your returning time coming back, this is our third week, I think. And so, welcome back. I am Deetra Dennis, and I am a registered nurse of 29 years, and I am the self-care coach for nurses. I empower my fellow nurses to prioritize the care of their MVP, their most valuable patient, which is themselves, so that they can show up as the best version of themselves daily. And as a result of that, it will impact the health of their family and the community. So I would love to see, again, I'm not able to see any comments just yet, but we'll keep going. And in the title, you see it says, how did you get here? Now, if you've been here anytime with me or any of my other videos, you know I love music. And the song that came to mind, how many of you know? How did you get here? Do you remember the artist for that? That was Deborah Cox. You remember the song? How did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Yeah, that was about love. But here today, we're talking about how did you get here to the place of being on the brink of burnout or right in the middle of burnout? How did you get here? Any comments? I want to see any comments coming in from any of you, or where are you tuning in from? All right, so what I will do now, if you see me looking down, you know I'm looking at my notes so we can stay on task, because I do want to be respectful of this evening with you and keep it as this Monday huddle is our gathering, is a casual water cooler conversation. And it's really to set your week so that you have start the week off strong and with motivation. And so, I hope that you had an opportunity to reflect on the past few weeks. You know, the first week we talked about, is burnout real? And we did determine, yes, burnout is real, but you were to kind of do a little check-in with yourself and pay attention if you were having those subtle signs of burnout. And I hope that you did have an opportunity to do the reflection on that. And then last week we talked about, what is burnout doing to your body? You know, all of the different signs. We went back to the basics, you know, with anatomy and physiology, about the sympathetic and parasympathetic, your stress response versus your relaxation response. So we talked about that. So I hope you had an opportunity to reflect. And if you did you by chance, you know, say, oh my goodness, how did I get here? And I'm still not able to see any responses yet. And I just want to let you know, I am streaming live on my personal Facebook page, my business page, and to YouTube. Excuse me. So I know, and I want to just pause first before we go any further. Thank you to those who are on my business page. I have been announcing to you that I was going live, and then there were some system glitches that prevented me from going live there. So I had to go live on my personal, and then, upload it to my business. So thank you for your patience there. And I hope that now you're able to see me live, and so you can respond and comment with me. So the next thing I wanted us to get into, like I mentioned, if you had a chance to reflect on, let me try one thing here, guys, because I want to be able to see your responses. I'm not able to see any of it. Okay, well, we're just going to keep going, and I'll figure it out later. You know, we'll get it together soon. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about, I know for me, when I was at the point of being exhausted, overwhelmed and just truly stressed out, I had to pause and take a time of reflection and realize that I was doing everything for everybody and, getting lost in doing that I really lost being. So it was like the more I did, the more I kept doing. So I was just, not only with work, because when I took that Nightingale Pledge, I'm not sure about for you, but when I took that Nightingale Pledge, and even to this day, 29 years later, and being a nursepreneur and not at the bedside, I still take that pledge to heart. And the part that really rings true for me is being devoted to the well-being of those assigned to my care. And I take that to heart. And so again, it wasn't just at the bedside. I took that into with my family, my faith-based community, as well as the community at large. And so I found myself really just so engrossed in doing that I put me on the back burner. So I wasn't caring for my MVP, which was me. And so again, that is what happens when we are at that point, and I was at that point of burnout. And it was because you get so lost in caring for others. And that is just that nurturing personality. When we are caring for others, it's like we get fulfillment from that. And it can also be I won't say a negative, but for lack of a better term, a negative thing, because we put ourselves last and never pause to take care of ourselves. And so again, other things that came to mind to me when I was doing that reflection, when I was a little girl, I was always observant and still observant, but I just really paid attention to the elders, the women and elder women in my life. And they always, always, always would say, be still. And the scripture that comes to mind is Psalms 46:10, when it says, be still and know that I am God. And many times they would say, you're doing too much. You need to sit still. And one other thing, again, I'm a Southern girl, so you're going to hear some Southern terminology and things that we say here. But they would say you're going 90 to nothing, just going 90 to nothing. Anyone else that you've heard that before? And what that really means is that you are working hard at everything. And we want things to flow with ease. That's how we want to live our life, flow with ease, not working so hard at everything. Anyone remember that? The 90 to nothing comment, or even them saying be still a lot. So those are some things that came to mind. And so that is how we can overcome getting so engrossed in things that we neglect ourselves. And so I want to share 3 things that happen when you are still. Are anyone familiar with that? Being still, the stillness, being still. So one of the first things that happen when you are still, you have increased self-awareness. And so when you have that increased self-awareness, you reconnect with yourself, because when you are busy with doing things, you tend to become disconnected or disassociated or detached from yourself, because you're so engrossed or involved in what you're doing. But by being still, having that stillness, you are able to connect with yourself and really identify, you can connect again better with yourself, so that you have better situations, better relationships as well. And so the other one, which we have been talking about, is it reduces your stress. So when you have the moment to be still, and let me just back up a little bit. When I'm talking about stillness, it's not just the physical, it's stilling yourself mentally and emotionally. And like I said, with the 90 to nothing, when you're going and doing so much, you're not able to still your mind. When you're able to still your mind, still yourself physically, and it may not always be physically, but when you're able to still your mind, you can, as I mentioned, you have self-awareness and you reduce the stress. And like we talked about last week, being able to, how it reduces the stress is it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your relaxation response. And so that is why it's important to have the stillness. The third thing that I wanted to mention, why being still is so important, is it improves your sleep. Yes, it improves your sleep. And so what happens with that, it helps you fall asleep more easily, and then you experience a more restful sleep. And so, and I know in the scripture it talks about sleep that is sweet. That is what you want when you have that stillness. And I want to see if we have any comments coming through here, and I don't see any. Let's see. Pardon me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I want to be sure that I'm not missing any comments taking place here. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any going on. But anyway, we will keep going. Hope there are, if you have any questions, we're going to work through the kinks, okay? Just bear with me. But still, even if you're watching this as a replay, I would love for you to, still comment and I will respond to you. Because again, I don't want this to be a lecture. I really want it to be us having communication, the water cooler conversation. Listen, one person isn't just talking at the water cooler, we're talking together, so that we can have, like I said, we want to set this week to have a strong and motivating week. No matter what is going on, you are able to start the week off strong. And so I just want to recap again, being still, that is how we overcome being at this place of burnout or on the brink of burnout. Kind of back up. There are many other things that take place as a result of being still, but I just wanted to highlight those three. So the first, again, was increasing self-awareness, reducing the stress, and it improves your sleep. And I always like to end with a quote. And so the quote that came to mind as I was preparing for today, so this one came to mind. It says, "Being still won't stop the world from chaos, but it will stop the chaos from running our lives." So think on that through the week. And I look forward to us connecting again on next Monday for our Monday Huddle.